Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I want you all to imagine that you are waiting for the subway. The first two trains are packed with people, so you miss those. And when you finally manage to fight your way onto the third, the doors never close. So you're stuck on a hot and cramped subway car for what feels like an eternity because of switch problems up ahead. This could easily have happened today, right? Now imagine the year 2030, when there are 1 million more people in New York. The already strained infrastructure is nearly 2 decades older, and climate change is posing an increasing threat to the city. It was this future prospect that made Mayor Bloomberg create plaNYC, New York's sustainability plan. And now the plan is soon to be revised. So we have been researching what New York can learn from sustainability efforts in other cities. My name is Haakon Gloerson, and I will present this project, The Future of plaNYC, on behalf of my wonderful team. Before I start, I want to thank Professor Cohen for his great guidance and our client, the Mayor's Office of Long-Term Planning and Sustainability. So I will start with some more background on the plan and our client that manages the plan, what we have been trying to help them with, and what our approach to this was. And then I will go over to the good stuff, some of our findings. Created in 2007, plaNYC is divided into 10 sustainability areas, each with a goal to be met by 2030, specific initiatives to reach these goals, and 29 indicators that track the overall progress of the plan. And just to show you how what this actually looks like, here are the 10 sustainability areas and goals. And as you see, plaNYC is both a vision, but also a very concrete and comprehensive strategy to make New York more livable for its citizens and less dangerous to the environment. But who's managing it? Our client, the Mayor's Office of Long-Term Planning and Sustainability. With roughly 24 staffers, this office coordinates all the work with the different city agencies, provide annual progress reports, and have revised the plan every 4 years. But you have some challenges, like political transitions or budget constraints, that can make sustainability planning difficult in the long term. And that is why the office seeks to learn from other cities' top practices to revise the plan in the best way possible. And that has been our job for the last couple of months. We try to find out what are the sustainability areas, the sustainability plans and initiatives out there. How are they funded, how are they managed, and how can these insights benefit New York? And to answer our research questions, we started defining 7 key sustainability areas in order to serve as a universal framework for investigating the cities. And then we selected a large amount of cities, as you see, mostly being domestic because their political structure are often more comparable to that of New York. And we investigated them primarily through interviews with key persons, for example, the city sustainability manager. And we did this to find information that we couldn't find anywhere else. We couldn't just Google that. We also used secondary sources, for example, the sustainability plans themselves, in order to fill in the gaps. And again, here are the 7 sustainability areas that we chose to structure our research into. And first, we had many interesting initial findings. For example, I found that Copenhagen is landfilling only 2% of their waste. But we wanted to look further into how are they actually managing to do that. And that is why we came together as a team and shared and analyzed our knowledge and learn about some really innovative and good ideas that are happening all over the world. That the approach to administering these initiatives differ from city to city. And this knowledge has given us some insight in the larger story of urban sustainability all across the world. There are some common themes among the cities. And I want to start with presenting some of the themes that we found, as you see here. One of our findings is that urban sustainability planning is growing. As you see, there were very few plans in the early 90s, but just look how much activity there has been after plaNYC was launched. And this is just the cities that we looked at. The one area they're definitely giving the most attention to right now is energy efficiency. It reduces greenhouse gas emissions, but it also makes a lot of economic sense by lowering your energy bill. And it is easy to track and quantify the benefits. And this is interesting. Energy efficiency is a form of climate mitigation with the goal of reducing a city's impact on climate change. And the complement to that is climate adaptation, with the goal of reducing climate change impact on the city. And we have seen through our research that there is less focus on adaptation in some cities, or that it may be in its early stages. And we believe a reason for this precisely is that the benefits are so much harder to quantify, and they do not show themselves immediately. We also learned that urban sustainability will not really be removed once it is part of city planning, but its content and format can change with political transitions. We saw that, for example, in Chicago, where the current plan, Sustainable Chicago, makes very few references to the earlier climate action plan, and does not specifically commit to the same level of carbon reduction goals. And finally, we learned that cities are networking more and more all over the world to share their knowledge and to find the best solutions. So we discovered these themes by basically looking at what other cities are doing. And that also led us to select some innovative programs and organize them into these key areas. And by doing so, we believe that city managers can quickly find the best case practices in the area that they are interested in. And I want to present one such case study too, in solid waste, which I liked a lot. The city of Philadelphia has managed to implement a single stream recycling system. So what does that mean? It basically means that I can put all my recyclables into one bin if I'm lazy, and the city can just sort it for me, into paper or metal or glass, and now also all the different sorts of plastics. And since it was launched in 2009, recycling rates have tripled in the city. In fact, the goal was to divert 70% of waste from landfills by 2015, and that goal was exceeded already in 2010. And how are they managing to do this? Well, part of the reason is that Philadelphia incentivizes its citizens through a private-public partnership called Recycle Bank. This is a rewards program, meaning that I can place a barcode on my recyclable bin. Every time it is picked up and scanned, I earn a coupon. For example, a $5 discount on Home Depot. And in just 1 year, over 185,000 households joined this program. So that is a lot. And what might surprise you is that it actually generates revenue for the city as well. But each city has a different approach to administering initiatives like this. You can have a different way to fund them, or the long-term institutionalization can be different, meaning that, for example, plaNYC is legislated into the city charter. And how they partner with the private and non-profit sector can be different. For example, Miami chose to invite the NGO IOB to use its crowdsourcing platform to fund small-scale neighborhood projects, using much less time and resources that the city would have itself. IOB actually is derived from the name NIMBY, not in my backyard. So this is in your backyard, because the average donation is around $35 given from people living very close to the projects. And an example of a project can be establishing a local farmers market, for example. But this was just two examples of the best case practices that we found. There are dozens of interesting examples in all the 7 sustainability areas and the 3 administrative areas, all of which you can find in our report. So just to summarize, we have seen that cities all around the world are addressing sustainability in very different ways. So there's really no one-size-fits-all solution out there. So what we did was to identify some best case practices that we believe New York should look more into, like single-stream recycling. And through our analysis, we also discovered some larger insights about the current state of sustainability in the world. It is growing, and cities are increasingly sharing their knowledge to find the best solutions out there. And again, today's presentation was only a little tasting of what we have found, so if you want to know more, you should read our report. But I want to give you one final discovery. through our work, I'm confident that New York can learn a lot from other cities, but we also discovered that New York really is a national leader in many other areas. It was one of the first to address sustainability in a comprehensive way, and many of the cities look to New York when building their own strategies. So with that, we hope that New York will continue to lead the way and always push for tougher goals. And we hope, of course, that our work here has helped advance some of those goals and promote sustainability here in the great city of New York. Thank you. I'm happy to take any questions, and for those taking the subway today, I wish you the best of luck. Kendall.
I actually went to the talk yesterday over in SIPA by the mayor of Changwon in South Korea, so it was very appropriate to this. And it sounds like he sort of single-handedly has propelled sustainability into something that's taken seriously in that city. You know, for example, when he wanted to promote biking, he actually started biking to work, and he's been doing it for a couple of years now. So I'm wondering, out of all the cities you looked at, how many of them you really feel like it's because of the leadership at those city, you know, kind of mayoral or what other leadership levels are kind of actually driving this?
That's a very good question. That comes into the what we call the long-term institutionalization in many ways. But it's difficult, I think, to kind of put a city in that area or put another city in that area. We are just basically seeing different ways to institutionalize. So you may have those strong mayors that are pushing forward for the initiatives, but you also have other cities that, again, for example, legislate sustainability into city charter. So there's different ways and, of course, benefits. For example, if you legislate this sustainability into the city charter, that may sound good, but it also needs that the new mayor have to prioritize resources and allocate budgets, funding within that planning. So again, there are different ways to do this. But I also saw that in Bogota, you had in the 90s, you had two very strong mayors that managed to provide funding and built a lot of the Transmilenio, the bus rapid system, built bike paths. And after that, you really didn't have that much focus on initiative like this. But still, you had the built environment. So you had the Transmilenio, you had the bike paths there, which was interesting to see how that can be a long-term approach. Yeah.
Time for one more question.
Hi, Haakon. Great job.
Thank you.
You mentioned that there was energy efficiency that you looked at. I was wondering if you also looked at energy security, because I know the national director at the Global Energy Policy Institute talked about the intrinsic nature of energy security being linked to national security. And I know that New York is one of the prime targets, so I'm wondering if you observed that in your studies.
Yeah, that's a good question. We didn't specifically look into energy security, but of course it is very linked to sustainability. You need to have a sufficient amount of energy supplies in order to have a sustainable energy system. But no, we didn't look specifically into security issues, no. But that would be interesting to look into further. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.